I read 69 books in 2020, and this is 3 ways how it changed my life. First of all, I did not plan to read 69 books. I actually counted individually each month and added them up at the end of the year, so that was absolutely a funny coincidence. But the 3 ways that reading all of these books changed my life was, first, there was a consistent flow of knowledge and motivation and learning into my life. Now, because I was consistently reading every day, either listening to audiobooks or reading books in person, paper books, I was always being reminded and motivated of the principles that I know and have learned that will make me more successful. Therefore, I wasn't necessarily learning tons of new stuff in every single book I read, because these books do sometimes repeat themselves. But even the books that weren't the best, weren't the most interesting, they reminded me of principles of success. And they allowed me to continue to be motivated, because I would, oh, yes, I remember that. Let me add more of that back into my life. Or, you know what, I'm actually doing that already, and it's just motivating and good to hear that these successful people who have written these books also are doing these things. The second way that reading 69 books changed my life was because I began to change my view on the world and on success. See, all of this reading, it changed what I view as successful. When I was younger, I thought money was pretty much the key to success. Money, fame, power. And in one of Tim Ferriss's books, he talks about the idea of 1,000 true fans, and how you're really successful when you have 1,000 people who love you, who love your work and love what you're doing. And because fame is not necessarily good, at least not mainstream fame, it has tons of negative effects on your life. But to be able to give great content and great help to 1,000 people who would then spread it to some other people, you're actually going to be much more successful that way. Not only necessarily monetarily, but your happiness, you're able to still have your own life. It also changed my view on other people and the world in general. I read books from people from different time periods. I've read books from people all around the world who live these long, successful lives. And it really helped show me what happiness is, and what these people found the most, or how these people found the most meaning and the most benefit from helping others. It also changed some of these long-held beliefs that I've had. So, for example, it made me question my political beliefs. It made me question, how I think about how the world works socially, what's important. And it even made me question some of my religious beliefs. But when I questioned certain beliefs, I changed them. And when things like my Christianity, when I questioned them, they actually came back stronger. And I feel much better about those beliefs, because they're not, protected behind not being attacked. But I actually questioned them, and they came back as even more true and more meaningful to me. And then the third way that reading 69 books changed my life was I became a much more interesting person. I have vastly more knowledge, and it's not just my knowledge. I'm not telling my stories. When I tell a story from a book by Arnold Schwarzenegger or Man's Search for Meaning, I'm not telling my story. I'm telling someone's story who's far more interesting than me, and then I'm able to connect those pieces together and be creative. Steve Jobs said that creativity is just connecting different ideas. And so I've become infinitely more creative because I have so many more ideas to connect. And so would I recommend that you guys try to read 50 or 70 or 100 books in a year? And the answer is actually no. Reading 70 or 69 exactly books didn't change my life. It was individual books that specifically changed my life. For example, I have some of my favorites here. Man's Search for Meaning. If you were to take this short, I think it's less than 200, it's 135, 140 page long book. But if you were to take this Man's Search for Meaning and study it in depth for a year, I think it would have far more effect positively on your life than reading 69 books like I did. Here's another one, Atomic Habits. I've talked about this before. If you were to break down the different chapters and the different ideas on habit change for an entire year and just read this book, it would drastically change your life. So specifically, reading a large number of books is not any better than reading a few great books. Now, I love reading, love exploring new ideas, so I naturally tend to pump up that volume. But this year in 2021, I believe that I will actually read less books. And that's because I'm shifting a little bit away from audiobooks to more books that I can write in and annotate, because I do feel like I get more out of that. So, In summary, the reading a lot will change your life. It changed mine by by providing consistent motivation and learning, by changing my views on the world, strengthening some and changing others, and then by making me more interesting, a better conversationalist, and just a better all-around person. Now, do I think you should read a ton of books? That's up to you, but you should read important, impactful books, and you should read as much as you can. And it's learning. Reading is really learning. So if you learn better by diving deep into a book, analyzing the individual pages, becoming a theologian about that book, whether it's the Bible or not, you can really, really benefit a lot from learning from these books. So I rambled on a little there, but thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video changes your life by allowing you to read or motivating you to read a little more. And as always, if reading is knowledge and knowledge is power, then reading is power. Thank you guys so much. Bye.